Hello everyone, this is Manuel Herrera with Buenos Dias, Oxnard, and you will never guess where I'm at today. I'm at a horse stable in South Oxnard. Well, I'm here to visit Blaze. Who's Blaze? Blaze is the horse that is part of the Oxnard Police Department mounted unit. It's a unit that's supervised by Sergeant Serrato from the Oxnard Police Department. So I want you to join me. Let's take a look. Let's meet Blaze. And no promises here, but I'm gonna try to see if I can get on top of Blaze. I am scared to death of horses, so we'll see what happens.
So here we go. So wish me luck.
There you go. Left foot up.
Left foot
Put it
up.
on the stirrup. Grab the saddle horn. Do three bounces and all the way up.
Hello and welcome to the Buenos Dias Oxnard podcast. Join us as we invite special guests to talk about topics that are important to everyone who lives, works, and does business in Oxnard.
Hello everyone, this is Manuel Herrera with Citizens for a Better Oxnard, and welcome to the podcast Buenos Dias Oxnard. You know, recently I went to a horse stable here in Oxnard, and yes, they have horse stables in Oxnard, right? I mean, who would have known? You've seen a lot of my podcasts in the past, so you're probably wondering, wait, what are you going to interview a horse now, or what's going on? Well, I'm here at the police department, and so what you're going to see is the combination of horses and the police department. So we'll explain it all in a second. So before we go into further details about the horse, first of all, welcome to the show, Sergeant Serrato. So let's find out a little bit about yourself. So what inspired you to become a police officer?
Inspiration-wise, I think it's going to be my father. Father was actually a police officer, not here, but in Mexico. He did it for about 3 to 4 years. So quick story on him. So before we migrated and moved into Oxnard, he was actually a rancher over there, had a bunch of cattle, had a bunch of pigs, had a store, had houses, and he was also like the town sheriff. Out of all his careers in his lifetime, my dad enjoyed being in law enforcement. When I was 10 years old, he gave me the idea and inspired me to be a police officer, and here I am now.
Wow, great story. I thought you were going to say I wanted to be a boxer, because
No.
a lot of boxers come from Oxnard, but okay, so I want to ask you, because this interview has to do with the mounted unit. So I myself didn't even know Oxnard had a mounted unit. So let's talk about that. What exactly is the mounted unit?
So it's a specialized unit that we have now. We have 4 horses, and we do a lot of community events. It's primarily used for community engagement and also for high visibility patrol.
Now, in the past, I've talked about cities' budgets, and so let's talk about the budget for the mounted unit. Like, when I would talk to people, they'd say, man, I bet you the police department is spending a ton of money on this program. Shouldn't they use that money instead for the kids and this and that? So tell me about it. Who actually pays for all this?
So we don't have an actual Oxnard police mounted unit budget from the city. So like the horses themselves, we had to buy them ourselves. The trailers that we haul the horses in, we bought them ourselves. Our monthly boarding for our horses, we pay for them. Their food, we pay for them. Cleaning of their stalls, we pay for them. Vet bills, we pay for them.
Wow.
The farrier bill, we pay for them.
All that comes out of your pocket?
Yeah, all that comes out of our pocket, and it's come out of our pocket for the last 3 years.
Wow.
But again, I think the reward is there, which makes our officers want to do this.
Wow.
But that being said, also this year we just started a 501c3 foundation for the mounted unit. That way, if we get generous sponsors out there that want to donate to a nonprofit, they can donate to our horses, and hopefully we can make this a little bit bigger than what it already is.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because I think it's a great program, and just like anything else, it takes money, right? And then again, you're not being funded by the taxpayers.
Right.
So So I'm glad you started this 501c nonprofit. Hopefully, when we air this, we can put a link on the page so that people can donate. You know, I mean, they do that with the K9 K9 dog program, and now let's get some money for these horses, right?
No, and I think with the foundation, what we really want to do is, it's hard to get an officer to want to be part of the mounted unit, not because of the cause, but because of the cost and the time.
Yeah.
So if we can get maybe our foundation big enough where maybe the foundation owns the horses, they own the trailers,
Okay.
maybe it'll be an incentive for maybe an officer to say, you know what, I want to be part of this mounted unit, if it comes with that. So I think we're just trying to make it, we're hoping that this program is here in the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Wow.
And it doesn't just disappear once the officers lose interest, and then there will be no more mounted unit. And I do think that connection that we're talking about, like I was raised in Oxnard, and I know how important that police connection is with our community. This is probably our best resource that we have to connecting with our community.
And excellent points, because it'd be great if, like you said, the foundation owned the horses and all that, and make it easier for police officers to want to join in. I think that's a great idea. Now, so all this is volunteer, it's unpaid. So how many hours would you say it takes from an officer to maybe on a monthly basis or so?
It's hard to say on the hours, but it could go anywhere from, we'll say, 20 hours to 60 hours. Before I started the unit, or we started this unit together, I was told that it was a change of a lifestyle, and I was like, it can't be that bad. But that's exactly what it is, because on my days off, I have to go, visit, my horse. I want to make sure that he's okay. I want to do some training with him.
Because he don't live with you. You don't have him in the backyard,
No,
right?
I do not. No, I do not. I wish I did, but I do not.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of moving parts. It's a lot of things that are involved, but when there's that passion, when you have those officers that have that passion for it, I think everybody wins.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know that with the K9 unit, it takes a special dog to be a K9 dog, right? Mm-hmm. So does that apply with horses as well? Does it take a special horse? And how do you pick the horse?
Yeah, the horse is a big one. Before we started this unit, once we got the team together, there was 4 of us. None of us, believe it or not, had a horse. So we all had to go looking for horses. And like we talked about earlier, not any horse can do the job of a mounted unit horse because of the sensory of it. So we have to go out and inspect these horses, make sure that they have a good mind and are willing to listen and are not as spooky. So I think out of every maybe 10 horses that we look at, maybe one of them would have those qualities that we're looking for.
Wow.
So yeah, we went everywhere. We got one of our horses in LA County. We got one in Bakersfield. We got one local, but that was Officer Jim Evans' horse, and he was getting ready to retire. So I ended up taking his horse. So that's Blaze.
Oh, okay.
And then the other one, we bought him from Mexico. And he ended up he's a really good horse. So.
Wow, that's awesome. How many riders are in the mounted unit, and what are their names, and what are the names of the horses?
Yeah, so there's 4 total, 4 of us. So it's myself, the sergeant, and 3 officers. The first one is Officer Alexis Arellano. He's currently working traffic right now. His horse is Red. So he does a lot of work with the traffic unit. And then he's also putting in the time with his horse, and his horse is he's a really good horse, and that's the one we got out of Bakersfield. We also have Detective Manuel Perez, who works with the Family Protection Unit, works a lot of hours there, and then he also finds the time to work with his horse. And his horse is Max, and he's actually our memorial horse. So if you ever attend our annual police memorial,
right,
he does the riderless horse with his horse.
Okay.
And our last rider is Officer Juan Reveles. This is our newer rider. His horse is Ace. The thing about Ace, that's the one we got from Mexico. He didn't have a name when he got to us, so we actually did a competition with a handful of schools.
Okay.
To see, we send a picture of the horse and ask the kids, like, hey, what would you guys want to name this horse? So we had hundreds of applications. So a 7th grader from St. Anthony's junior high ended up winning, naming him Ace.
Ace. Wow.
So I'm really proud of all 3 of our officers. They put in a lot of work, and we appreciate it here at the police department, and so does the community.
So Sergeant Serrato, tell me, what's a daily routine for Blaze?
When I come out here, I like to put him out in the arena, let him stretch his legs, let him go out for a nice little run. And then there are times where I just take him out, that way he's out of his stall, and let him eat fresh green grass.
He scared the
I do try to take him out about 3 to 5 times a week. That way he's out of his home. But horses, they don't need a whole lot of room. So he's happy where he's at. They feed him a couple of times a day. They clean his stall, he has his water. And then he's just waiting for us to come and get ready to go to work.
So he's living the good life, right?
I think so. He's actually, he was born in Wyoming.
Oh,
So
okay.
I've never been to Wyoming, but I do know it's cold over there. So I think he's enjoying the good California weather.
There you go, the Southern California weather. And as you can see, I'm kind of a little timid when it comes to the horse. Like, what did he just do? Tell me, hey, I gotta eat, move out of the way, or?
No, he just pretty much he wants to probably eat what you're standing on. But these animals are, they're friendly animals. They're not violent or anything. More than anything, they're flight animals. So if they see something that's scary to them, their first nature is to run away.
Okay. So someone like me shouldn't be afraid of them.
We do give our horses a lot of training, a lot of sensory training. We're asking these horses to do things that they don't want to do. And when you see these horses out, like we'll even say a parade, they're walking around all those peoples, all that sensory, that's a pretty good horse, because he's doing something that he really doesn't want to do, but he's trusting his training, and he's trusting his rider that everything's going to be okay.
Wow. Now, and obviously I would assume the rider himself needs to be trained on being able, because he's the one in charge, right? It's the officer that's in charge of the horse. So does that require special training on the officer himself?
Yeah, there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of training, and there's a lot of training for the mounted unit. There's a lot of training on your own that you have to do. So I ask our officers to go with their horses at least 2 to 3 times a week, and that's going to be on their own time. And we also, if we don't have that kind of time, we actually even hire trainers to take out our horse at least a couple of times a week on our on our time. That way they're ready. So once we deploy with our horses, we're not going to have an incident, or the horse is not behaving the way we want him to.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of training involved, a lot of responsibility. But again, I think in the long haul, I think it's very worth it.
So can you give me a little more details as to when it's used? Because I've seen you guys at the Salsa Festival, at the Cowboys workouts and so forth. And I actually went not too long ago to the collection, and I saw you guys there. Yeah. So tell us about that.
So we talked about the special events. We do those a lot. We Cowboys Camp, Salsa Festivals, Multicultural Festival, Juneteenth, parades. We also like doing the schools. I think we have a great interaction with our kids. We do like high school football games. So those are some of these specialized events that the city of Oxnard has. Police officers are needed to be there for police presence, and in case something happens. So instead of just having a police officer on foot or a police officer in a vehicle, we now have police officers on horses, and it's great because we're really high on the horse, so our visibility is very high. People see us. Doesn't matter where you're at, you're going to see the horse, and you're going to see the cop on top of them. So it's been real effective, and people love it. For some reason or the other, people love horses, and never in my 20-year career have I engaged with more people in our city just because of a horse.
Wow.
They're interested, and they approach you, and they talk to you just like we're one of them. So I think it's a great resource to have here in the city of Oxnard.
Well, it's funny you say that, because that's how I got interested in this, and I wanted to do an interview with you about this because I found it completely fascinating. Now I mentioned to you this earlier that I'm scared of horses, and it's because they're so big and tall, and like I think to myself, do they know that all they have to do is just make one move, and because they're such powerful animals, but. You guys use them, it's not like for crowd control or anything like that, right? It's more like of a PR type of reasoning why you use the horses?
Yeah, so again, community engagement, public relations, and again, the police presence. Just people seeing that horse and then a cop on top of him, everybody sees him. So, there's been plenty of instances where somebody wants our attention. They could be a block away, and just because I'm so high up there or my partners are so high up there, they can just flag us down. So, but you're right. The biggest reason, and Oxnard Police Department, we're huge on community engagement.
Yes.
And if I were to grade us, even before the horses, I give us an A because we're very active with the community. But why not shoot for that A+? And that's why we brought back the horses. With the mounted unit, and so far they've been very effective.
Excellent. So now, are you guys the first mounted unit for Oxnard PD?
No, we're actually not. I did a little bit of homework on it. I know they were around in the mid-90s.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Sergeant Tim Combs who started it, and there was Officer Larry Eklund that was part of it, and then there was Officer Bobby Vizcarra, and then it was Officer Jim Evans. And back then it was Corporal Greg Ebert on the mounted unit. Greg Ebert ended up retiring as a commander. But those are the riders that were back in the mid-90s to the 2000s. And then once the last one, which I believe it was Jim Evans and Larry Eklund around the same time, around 2013, maybe 2014, they'd retired. And then there was no more mounted unit.
Okay. Well, it's good to see them back because, again, I've been around where you guys show up, and the kids absolutely love them. So, good. Now, how many police mounted units are there in California?
I would have to say dozens of mounted units are out there. I know we'll say Ventura County or in our immediate area, we have the Ventura County Sheriff's Office has a mounted unit. Santa Monica Police Department has a mounted unit. Santa Barbara SO has a mounted unit. And then recently I've been told that one of our close cities, which I'm not going to name, they're very interested in having the mounted unit. They've been asking us questions on how to get it reinstated, and they're pretty excited about it because they see the benefit in having a mounted unit in their police department.
Oh, okay. So let me ask you this question, because I know the viewers want to know, but when a horse... when he has to go to the restroom, like how does that work? And is there an ordinance against that, and what do you guys do if in the middle of at an event nature takes over? So how does all that work?
There's not a city ordinance where someone has to pick up the manure of a horse. There is a city ordinance against the dogs, and the difference is that there's nothing hazardous in horse manure. So it's really 70% water and 30% hay.
Wow.
That being said, it's not a good look. So whenever, like if it goes in front of a bunch of people and everything, we actually have bags and gloves in our cantle bags, and we actually dismount, pick it up, go to a nearby trash can, throw it away, then
really
keep on going. Yeah.
Simple as that, huh?
Simple as that. 1, 2, 3.
Well, actually, you could make that a requirement for the cadets, no? Well, anyways. So now I hear that the Oxnard mounted unit is pretty famous. So, matter of fact, you guys were even on the cover of this magazine.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. I thought I was going to make you guys famous, but it looks like you guys were already famous.
No, so that's so every year police have memorials for their fallen officers. We have memorials here in Oxnard PD, and it's every May. Ventura County SO has them when we attend theirs, and the state of California also has one big memorial over at the Capitol in Sacramento. So this year, we've been around for over 3 years. So I asked if we can attend and honor our fallen officers by attending the memorial in Sacramento. And then luckily our Peace Officers Association gave us a generous donation in order for us to attend the memorial. So we were up there for a couple days at the memorial, and after the memorial there was a lot of people in that area by the Capitol, and I really wanted to take that photograph because that's a great photograph with our horses, but there was a lot of people.
Okay.
So I was just hoping for the best, that once we went forward, people were going to move, and that's exactly what happened. And we were able to take that photograph, and then next thing you know, it came out on the Porak magazine, and we weren't even aware that it was going to come out.
Oh wow, really?
So it was kind of neat, and it was great for the guys, and so it was kind of nice to see.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a good representation for our department.
Yes.
And for the city of Oxnard.
Yeah. Again, I mentioned earlier about boxers in Oxnard. I mean, they say that Oxnard is famous because of boxers. Yeah. Oxnard is famous because of strawberries and the cowboys, and now we can say the mounted unit as well, right?
Hey, there you go.
All right. So going back to your nonprofit organization, so what kind of fundraisers do you have or plan to have, and how does all that work?
Yeah, we actually just started the foundation in January. We haven't really had any events. We do plan to have a fundraising dinner in October. I should have done it in a bigger venue, but we did it in a smaller venue just to kind of see the interest, and we sold out within a couple of days.
Really? Okay.
But if you guys want to know more about our program, we do have a website, Oxnard Mounted Unit Foundation. You guys can also follow us on our Instagram under Oxnard Mountain Unit Foundation, and we're also using our Oxnard PD platforms. So.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. Awesome. So whatever you can do to support these guys, it's really important. So now, is there anything else that you think the community should know about the program, about yourself, and all this in general?
No, I just think it's great that the Oxnard Police Department and the city of Oxnard decided to bring back this the mounted unit, because I do feel like we have a strong connection with our community with them. When we have the time, we'd be more than happy to be out there and one, showing our presence, and two, engaging with our community.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a wonderful program. Like I said, that's why I wanted to do this interview. I said, because I was fascinated when you and I talked originally, and you're giving me all these details and all this information that I had no clue. I too thought the police department was paying for this, for example. Come to find out, they're not. And then come to find out that you and the other officers volunteer their time, aside from their duties. They have to do all this on their own time. There's a lot of money involved. There's the trailers, there's all of this. So, and it's all for a great cause, because again, I've been to these events. I've seen the children, mainly the children, they get so excited and they're all, fascinated and everything. I was even acting like a little child when I saw these horses, because it's amazing and they're so cool and calm, and it's great PR, great PR. And there's nothing better than to unite the community than doing it with these magnificent animals.
But it's funny you said the children, but I'm gonna tell you about a scenario that actually happened. And we were at Southwinds Park, and I saw this father with his about 10-year-old son, and they were running towards our horses. They were excited, both of them were. And you can see little hearts in their eyes. And the father's like, "Hey, can I take a picture of the horses?" They're like, "Yeah, absolutely." So he gives the camera to his 8-year-old son, and he poses with the horses, and he had his son take a picture of him with us.
Really?
But then I'm like, "Hey, does your son want to be in the picture?
Right.
I'm sure we can get somebody to take a photo." But everybody gets excited.
Yeah.
And then there's times when we deploy, we actually have to hide somewhere, like maybe a couple blocks away minimum, because when people see our trailer and
Right.
see our truck, they right away they just want to engage.
Yeah, they just navigate
Yeah, and
automatically.
we need our time to get ready.
Wow.
But at them saying it's all great, and if that helps us engage more with the community, why not?
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to give us this interview on the mounted unit, and hopefully the viewers out there, they now have more information on how this whole program works. So thank you for taking the time. And when originally I went to meet Blaze, I was a little afraid to get on him. You kept saying, hey, why don't you get on him? Why don't you ride him? And I said, I don't know about that. So I don't know. Let's see if I'm willing to get on Blaze. Here we go. So wish me luck.
There you go. Left foot up.
Put
Put it on the stirrup. Grab the saddle horn. Do two, 3 bounces and roll the way up. Oh boy.
Did it first time. Wow, this is pretty high.